Good morning, it's Miss Hart, and today we're going to do a lesson on ballpoint pen printmaking, and my daughter is going to do it along with us. So the finished product, we're hoping, will look something like this. And what you're going to need for this lesson today is 2 pieces of paper. I'm using one that's a little bit thicker and sturdier than the other. This is just regular printer paper. And then this one is from a sketchbook. But if you only have just printer paper, that should work fine too. You're also going to need some crayons, unwrapped. So you just peel the little wrapper off. And we broke ours in half so we would have the same color. You're going to be using them on the flat side and rubbing them. And you'll also need 3 pens of different colors, and that's just to help you to distinguish between which lines you've made already and which ones you haven't. I'm using a Bic ballpoint pen, and Olivia's using some Papermate pens of different colors. It doesn't matter which colors you choose. And if you don't have pens of different colors, using one of the same color will be fine as well. All right, let's get started. So we're going to start by putting the heavier paper, if you have a different weight paper, on the bottom, and the lighter paper. To draw your horse, we're first going to make a line down the middle of our paper and curve for the bottom of her nose. We're going to come back up to the top to draw a sort of triangular shaped ear. And then leave a little space and do the same thing next to it. She'll have hair in between her ears called a forelock. So we're just going to do a few lines. I have 3 lines. We'll come back and add more later. And then from the second ear down and off the paper, we're going to do a curve shape right out the side of the paper for her neck. Now let's work on the other side of her face. We're going to bring the muzzle around and just make a small line up. Come back next to the small line, and this is her chin. We're going to bring that up. Horses have a nice rounded cheek, so let's curve a nice rounded cheek pointed up towards the ear. Then let's add the eye. Below the forelock, right about where the cheek ended, we're going to come down. Horses have a nice round eye, sort of like the number 6. And we'll add a little bit of structure here to the head. They have nice round nostrils. It's almost like another number 6. Good. Okay, so now we're going to come underneath between the chin and the cheek. And we'll come down and curve in. And add some beautiful hair. Just going to make a few, because we'll come back and add more. The hair is blowing in the wind. These can be done however you'd like. Good job. If you ever find that we're moving too fast in the video, just pause it, catch up, and jump right back in. Now we're going to move on to the tree. So the tree is going to be on the other side of the paper, and trees are created with organic lines. So nothing straight, just sort of kind of wiggle your hand across the paper as we make this curved C shape. And then we're going to come in and repeat that, following the branch, and then make it come a little bit wider so we can add a few more branches here at the end. And maybe some more down here. Good job. We'll come back and add some more branches just to fill in this side. You can do however many you'd like or as few as you'd like. And maybe one more just kind of leading up off of the paper to complete that tree. It's half of a tree. Good job. Now between the tree and the horse, we're going to add some fence posts. So we'll do some horizontal lines, parallel, then come down a little bit farther and do 2 more parallel lines to create the bottom portion of the fence post. Make sure you're pushing down hard so that ball point is making an indentation on the paper behind it. 2 vertical parallel lines. And at the bottom of this fence post, instead of closing it like we closed the top, we're going to add some grass. Then we'll continue to make whatever we're going to see left of our fence behind our horse. Maybe just the top one here. Vertical post back here. And some grass. Great job. Next, we're going to add some grass. Just a few leaves of grass here and leaves of grass there. Make sure you're pressing down. Maybe there's some over by the tree. Some texture. We're going to come back and add some texture in the fence. 2 or 3 lines in each rectangle. We'll add more when we come back with other colors. These are organic lines. Organic lines are lines that we find in nature, so they're not perfectly straight. They're not made with a ruler. And then let's add some organic lines to the tree. Coming up into the branches just a little bit. Good job. Okay, now let's go back to our horse and add a little bit of shoulder coming from the far side, down off the paper. And then this is the horse's chest, and so we'll add a little bit more. Add another leg in the front. And we'll close that leg in the back. And bring our belly right off the paper. Good job. Now we're going to remove our drawing from our piece of paper. Set it aside. We're going to start with our lighter colors. So we're using a peach, and we're just going to go over the areas of the horse and the tree and the fence. And I know it's difficult to see anything there at all, so if you do need to look at your drawing, you could place it next to it to see where your horse and your fence and your tree actually are. Once you start rubbing it on there and your colors get darker, it'll become more apparent where they are. So it's a very light peach. We're just gonna rub over it some, start getting those colors on there. I can see her muzzle coming through and some of her hair. I'm gonna look for that fence. And the tree. And some of these branches. I'm just rubbing right over it. And it's okay if some of the colors come out of the lines of the area that you're intending to, because we'll go back over those with the colors, with more colors that will change them into the colors that you would like them to be. Now if you don't have peach, you could just use a tan color or light brown. Good job. Continue with the tan until you have all of it colored, and then you're going to use your light colored green. Rub the green over all the grass area. I'm going to be a little more careful this time going near the horse because I don't really want any green in my horse. Get up into the grass around the bottom of the fence post. That looks great, daughter. And now I'm going to go all around those branches of the tree again because I have green leaves in my tree. I'm going to use blue, and I'm going to add some sky. I have a little sky in between my fence posts too. Oop, got some on my tree, but that's okay. Because all this is going to get darker too. Great job! Now we're going to place our drawing back over, trying to line it up in the same area as you had it before, or as close to as possible. And this is where you're going to change the color of your pen. So this time I'm going to use blue. And so is my daughter. We're going to go back and add details of texture. So I'm going to start with the tree. I'm going to add a canopy of leaves just by making these small C shapes around all my branches and in between, wherever I want it to look as though my tree has leaves. I'm going to add more lines of texture, the organic line, on the bark of the tree. Texture simply means how something feels, not emotionally, but physically, when you touch it with your fingers. We'll add some more lines on our fence posts. Remember to continue pressing down. At this point, your fingers might start getting a little bit tired from all this pressing down, but it is important so that those lines created by the ballpoint pen create texture on the paper below so you can print right over it. Try to keep your paper still also. Mine moved a little. I'm just going to move it right back where it belongs. And now in our horse, we're going to add a few details. The lines in the ears. Some more forelock. If you'd like to add a star or blaze, you can add that. I'm going to go all the way down to the center of the nose. And I think I'll fill that in. I'm going to really press down. That should keep it the peach color we started with. Be careful not to tear your paper. I'm going to fill in her eye. I'm going to add more flowing mane. And because we love Appaloosas, we're going to give our horse some spots. You can add as many or as few as you like and different sizes. And maybe some more grass too. And also across the bottom near the fence and add some more grass. And then making my grass a little smaller this time. Now we're going to remove the drawing again, and we're going to come back with some darker colors, starting with brown. This was originally a tan color, now we're coming back with the brown. And you're going to go all through your horse. And here with these darker colors, you should start seeing all those lines popping up a little bit more and be able to better stay in the area that is the horse. And the fence. Ooh, I like the way her face came out. Or his, maybe it's a he. That looks nice. Good job. Keep it up. Do all the areas that were peach. We're going to go over in dark brown, including the tree. Oops, got away from me. I'm going over all of the branches. And it's okay if it gets in on your leaves a little bit. And our dark green. Make sure you keep your crayon on its side. And we'll go through all of the leaves. I like the way the green overlapped the blue here and created the dark blue-green. When you're doing this darker green, you can go right over the brown too. The brown should stay, and you can go back and make your brown darker if needed. And your grass. All right, I'm gonna come back with a little bit more blue here. Now that I can see where my sky is, I can clean up those areas around the fence and around my horse's ears. Great. Last details, we're going to put our paper back over, lining it up the best that you can. And this time I have my pink pen, and I'm going to add more texture to the fence, just a little bit, especially pressing down now, because this is going to be the last time we get anything to stand out here. More details to the hair. I'm going to fill in her ears, see what happens there. This flowy, beautiful mane. Make sure that hair is always going the same direction, out away from the neck, because it attaches at the neck and spreads out that way. It's blowing in the wind. Looks good, Olivia. Make sure you press down. That looks good. Make sure you continue to press down on your pens. I'm going to add a few more dots. And now I'm going to outline my horse again, really making sure to press down so that anything that wasn't showing up before is going to show up now. That includes the ears, muzzle, back, belly. The great thing about this ballpoint printmaking is that even if your lines do come up and off where they were before, with all the texture that we're adding and all the very many lines, it's really not noticeable if you go off the beaten path and come back on. I'm going to add a lot more leaves. I think the more you have in here now, the more beautiful the picture comes out to be. looks really good. I'm going to add a few branches on the ground because trees drop branches, and I think it would be nice to have some different things down here. All right, the last color we're using is black. Be careful not to use too much black, but go over the outlined areas. To define the shape of your horse. I'm going to fill in his nostril or her nostril, whatever you decide for a V. And I'm going to add some dark areas. I'm pressing down a little bit more lightly than I was before, and then pressing down heavy in some areas that I want to be dark, and you can decide where those are. So move them a little bit darker in towards where the hair attaches towards the neck. I'm going to go over her eye. Inside the ears where we added those details. You can really see those Appaloosa spots popping out now. How about you? Yep.
Kind of.
On the fence. On the tree. I'm going to add a little bit of dark into my grass. Make sure everything's popping out really well. And then you can even go back in some of those darker areas with the colors dark green in your tree and the darker brown in your horse to go back over and get anything that you might have missed and come way into the corners. You can even come back and add some highlights. I'm going to try using a gold on my horse and see how that works. Ooh, I like it.
It looks good if you use it like around the chin and around the edge of the moon, like right here.
I do like that. That looks very good. All right, so I think we're finished with our ballpoint pen prints, and I hope you give this a try at home. I hope you enjoyed doing this lesson, and if you did, I'd love to see what you're making. Take a picture, post it on the Art with Miss Hart Facebook page underneath the lesson, and share it with everybody else so that they can be encouraged by your work. I enjoyed this project, did you? Here's what we came up with.
This was our outline and then this was our coloring.
Don't forget to like us on our Facebook page, Art with Miss Hart, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Art with Miss Hart, if you'd like to see some more videos like this one.